from Canadian HR Reporter at the HRPA Annual Conference and Trade Show. I'm here with keynote speaker David Rock. Thank you so much for being here today.
Welcome, good to be here with you, Liz.
So I would love if you could tell me a little bit about your session today.
Sure. I was talking about, it was called the neuroscience of performance, and I was talking about the science of why we need to rethink the whole strategy around performance management overall. And not from a perspective of comp or all that, but actually rethinking the whole approach. And we looked at the science, actually the neuroscience, and then also trends that are happening, so looking at data from the field. And what we see is that actually the system we have now of setting goals and then doing an annual review and then rating people on a scale, that system has two basic flaws. One is people absolutely hate it, and the second is it doesn't work at all. And despite that, and those are general terms, but despite that, it remains. But I was actually sharing research on how there's, as a matter of fact, a huge trend to get rid of ratings right now and maintain goal setting, maintain pay for performance, maintaining pay differentiation, but just focusing on managers having regular quality conversations about performance instead of giving people a number. And I was sharing the research on how much, just how much better that is for everyone.
So can you elaborate a little bit more on ideally moving forward what managers should be moving towards?
Yeah, so best practice looks like rebranding the whole approach and not calling it performance management, and developing a strategy for like the number of interactions roughly you want managers to have across the year. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's monthly. Gap went to monthly, and they're finding most of their managers are having monthly performance conversations with their people. So identify like how frequently you want people to be talking, and the kinds of issues you want them talking about when they're having a performance conversation. You may or may not keep an annual review in there. I mean, everyone's goals are changing so fast. The annual anything is becoming less and less relevant. I can't even imagine the number of projects that we're all working on each year. So you may or may not do an annual review. Maybe comp is done half yearly, maybe yearly, but often that's not tied directly to any particular number that's given to the employee. And managers focus on growing people. Now, if there's someone who's really underperformed, if there's someone who is in that 3 or 4% of employees that there's a real problem, then those people should be managed differently. But for the 96% of people who are doing okay, defining them as a number has a number of unintended consequences that are much bigger than the upsides. The upsides is, senior management feels like the whole process has rigor. Actually, the whole process has no rigor. It's massively biased. You have even people at the top hate the process and find on the whole that it's disengaging. You find about half the company drops in engagement, like in the order of 85%. You find, at all points across the business, these systems just suck the life out of employee commitment. And so companies that have removed them, there's about 52 large companies, including GE, Microsoft, Accenture, Deloitte, many others. Even GE, who kind of created this concept, have moving away from it. So companies have made the change of finding that it increases collaboration, increases innovation, increases talent agility, can move people around and be more creative, and overall is increasing engagement as well. So it's a 12-month journey to rethink it, and it's scary for a lot of people. But from the 52 companies we've studied, life is definitely much better on the other side.
Thank you again, David Rock, keynote speaker. Appreciate you being here. So once again, this is Liz Foster for Canadian HR Reporter at the HRPA Annual Conference and Trade Show.
Thanks very much.